Okay, guys, welcome to the weekly baseball rundown. I'm Joey Acacia, your host, followed by Mr. Jester and Chains, Mr. Brandon DeJesus,
What's up, guys?
Mr. Josh Salisbury, Mr. Johnny Garfield, and Mr. Kurt Alamai.
Hey, good evening.
We are going to start out today with our teams, and I'm going to start with the person to my immediate left, Chester and Chains. Let's hear about your Astros. Let's hear about your Rangers.
The Astros seem to be starting to wake up with when they beat the series 2-1 over the Padres and they swept the Blue Jays. Christian Walker is starting to wake up as well as Isaac Paredes. Paredes. I'm like happy that they're doing better. The Rangers as well are on top of the West, 14-10. They beat the Athletics 8-5, and then they lost 5-2. So tonight at 9:05, they finished the series.
Okay. Is there anything else you have to add there, Jesse?
That's it.
Okay, now we're going to go to the person. Well, I lost him. I had him and I lost him. Hopefully, Josh will be back in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and try and go, and if he comes back, I'll come back to him. Mr. Garfield, we're going to go with you, and if Josh comes back, we'll go back to him. So, Mr.
Okay.
Garfield.
Well, the Dodgers have seen quite a few injuries to their pitching staff. Thankfully, none of them is serious. However, they've been able to sustain the form that got them and to the World Series and won them last year. So they are doing pretty decent. They are still kind of exuding the form that they had last year. Now, as for my hometown Mariners, they may be just barely above 500, but they're doing their just best job keeping their head above water, even though they're having kind of a Jekyll and Hyde season thus far. They're Dr. Jekyll at home and Mr. Hyde on the road. Still, we're not yet done with the first month of the season, so there's still hope.
That's all you can. That's all you can do. It's 162 games, so you can only hope to get so far. Josh, now that you're back, I'm gonna go to you because I just finished with Jesse and I just finished with Mr. Garfield. So, Josh, let's hear about your Cubbies.
Okay, well, the Cubs have had an interesting start to the year, starting off the season early in Tokyo, which I think was interesting, but it was kind of bad timing when the way they did that, because we ended up losing two Wrigley home games to accomplish that, and we didn't do particularly well in Japan. But the Cubs are on the upside now. They have won their series last night against the Dodgers at Wrigley. We play Cincinnati starting tomorrow. And I think with the prospects that we have, especially the one player that we have, Pete Crow Armstrong, he's going to have a fantastic year. And I think we're going to see a lot of magical things happen with this team.
Yeah, I believe the Cubs will do something special. I know they smacked the A's early in the season, ruined their home opener, winning by 15 runs. So I have a feeling the Cubs will do something this season. Kurt?
Well, and we're still in first place right now, which we'll see how long that lasts.
It'll be a decent amount of time. I'm going to move on now to Kurt. You're the floor. Go for the Mets.
Well, the Mets have had an amazing week. They've won 7 in a row. So they are on top of the National League East. And in fact, I believe they have the best record in baseball right now. Yep, I'm right. They are at 18-7, which is a 720 winning percentage. Now, a little tempering my enthusiasm a little bit. Through the first 25 games of the year, the Mets have had a team ERA of 2.3, which is pretty amazing and utterly and totally unsustainable. That would be the best earned run average for a team, I think, in Major League history. Most of the other teams in that area were either playing in the 1960s when they had the mound at a better height, which gave the pitchers a decided advantage. So What they're going to need to do right now, the Mets are right around league average in scoring runs. They need to pick that up a little bit. And I think that's going to happen over the next couple of days. They should be getting Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez back from the disabled list. Alvarez will slot back into the catcher position, which Luis Torrens and Hayden Sanger have been doing a pretty good job holding down for now. McNeil, if he can start hitting anywhere close to the way he did a couple of years ago, he would be a great help at the second base position. Luis Angel Acuna has done a pretty good job. Brett Beatty is still not hitting that much, although he finally did hit his first home run earlier this week. Jose Siri had a pretty serious injury, so he's out for a long time. Tyrone Taylor's holding down center field, but he's not hitting much either. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets try Acuna in center field for a bit. And the pitching has been spectacular. The bullpen's been great. Edwin Diaz went out yesterday with what looked like a minor injury, but he should be coming back without any problems over the next couple of days. I'm not sure who they're playing over the weekend. They did beat St. Louis and Philadelphia. So let's see who they are playing. Oh, they've got the Nationals in Washington over the weekend. So we'll see how it goes for that. But right now, they're looking pretty good.
Okay. That's great to hear about the Mets. I know Beatty has been struggling a bit. Not as much as Jock Peterson from the Texas Rangers, who got his first hit in 41 plate appearances. Thank God he's not turning into Chris Davis, because that contract, I tell you. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the man to my immediate right. David is here backstage, so I will get to him after Mr. De Jesus.
All right, so the White Sox, the White Sox today, they won a rain-shortened 7-inning game over the Minnesota Twins 3-0, improving to a whopping 6-19. Surprisingly enough, not the worst record in baseball. That belongs to the Colorado Rockies at 4-20. And yes, Lenyn Sosa, Miguel Vargas homered, and they got another one off of a bases-loaded walk. But I don't know. Like, I'm looking at Luis Robert right now, and in this game today, he struck out 3 times, all of them looking. 3 times looking, and he flied out to right, making him 0 for 4. He's batting 138 this season, and he has a 517 OPS. That is not good for someone who I think is going to get dealt at the deadline. But I can tell you right now, like, once that happens, when he's playing for a winning team, I think his passion for the game will come back. But other than that, I think he's completely checked out. And plus, you have Palacios leading off every single day now. Like, what are we doing here, Will Venable? And it's tough. It's just tough seeing this team play. It's a glorified AAA team that we're throwing out there every single day. We got Oakland, or the Athletics, for the next 3 games
Call
this
him
weekend.
whatever you want. I'm not John Fisher. I don't care. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I could never give a damn about is he moved him to Sacramento, wants nothing to do with Sacramento, and now he's afraid to call them the A's. Anything but the A's. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and they'll be playing them this weekend up at Sutter Heath Park, and then we're coming home for Milwaukee and the Astros. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe Luis Robert will turn it on before the deadline in July, but other than that, I do not have a lot of hope for this team at all.
Okay. We've just passed the 8. We're at the 9-minute mark. We got about 6 more minutes. I'm going to give each one of you 1 point. Well, not 1 point. I'm going to give you guys each a suggestion for your team, and I want to know what you guys feel about it. I'm going to start first with the man below me for the Mets. The Mets are doing great again, but I think more or less it's not their pitching, it's their hitting. Do you think Juan Soto, because he was in the headlines the other day, do you think Juan Soto is bringing too much attention to your team and instead dragging attention away from the other players?
I could see where that might be an issue. He's not doing badly. Right now, he's got a 753 OPS. What's really impressed me is he came in earlier this year and said, I want to win a Gold Glove. His fielding had been known to be a weakness, but he's really been trying to work on it this year. So I suspect that's really playing off well with his team members. The rest of them, we'll see. Pete Alonso's having a great year. Everybody else is just sort of struggling, but it's a long season. Last year, they kind of had the same direction. Lindor has really picked it up this week. So fingers crossed. I think some of the other guys will do the same as well.
Okay. Now I'm going to go to Josh because I know the Cubs, they've been kind of snake bitten in recent years with the trading off of Baez, Rizzo, and Bryant. I'm going to ask this now. Without those three players, do you feel the Cubs would be better or worse off if they didn't trade him away or let him go a couple seasons ago in this current time frame?
Well, I don't think they did. Well, I think they did a massive sell-off where they wanted to get rid of the last of the 2016 dynasty, and I think the problem is their problem right now is they can't really win series yet. I mean, their defense is there, their offense is kind of creeping up there to where they've been competitive the last few games. I'm not saying they haven't, but they're not totally locked in yet. And I think if they would have kept one or two of those pieces, be it Baez, Rizzo, whoever, they might be a little more locked in because they're struggling at first base. So, it comes to the fact of, should we have kept Anthony Rizzo for another year or two and look for another first baseman? Because that seems to be the point where they really have struggled the last couple of games on the defense side of it.
I think having a solid first baseman would have helped a little bit more because I know they've had issues. I'm going to see if David can take over real quick. Because I'm going to go on to Jesse and my topic is, do you think keeping Abreu would have been better or worse for your team, for the Astros? I'll be right back.
I think that they should have kept Abreu. He was pretty good.
The man of the future is here.
David, welcome.
Hello, guys. So where do we left off here? I'll ask you, Kurt. Where did we left off?
Jesse was talking about the Astros and if Abreu would be any help. Jose Abreu.
Jose Abreu.
Jose Abreu. What do you think about that, Jesse? Did he give you a lot of help?
Well, Jose Abreu he struggled last season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Christian Walker is a great addition. It's just that his hitting right now, his hitting is 202, but he's got 3 home runs so far. He's starting to come into his own. I think Jose Abreu was past his prime, and I think the Astros are gonna do pretty good with Christian Walker. He's a former Gold Glove winner. He's great addition to our defense.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say.
All right, Joey.
Thank you for that, David. I'm sorry, I was needed out of the room.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and go to Johnny, and then I'll go to Brandon. We can go over a little bit. It's fine. But for Johnny, for the most part, this is going to be for both the Dodgers and the Mariners. Because I know the Dodgers have succeeded where the Mariners have not by spending money. Do you think their GM, has spent too much time focusing on the future instead of the present, and that's held the Mariners back from postseason success?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know whether it's tunnel vision on whether Mr. DePuto thinks that the future is where it is, even where he wants to see the team and, kind of invest in the future rather than the present. I don't know. I could also be down to stingy ownership on the part of the Mariners. I don't know why, but it's also their ownership. John Stanton I don't know. He's not willing to spend as much as the Dodgers will, although I don't see that happening. I don't know.
From the standpoint that you're talking about, though, with DePuto, I've seen him make a lot of trades. I know he's been doing this a lot. But at what point do you just get a point where your prospects are here, your expectations are here, but the performance of the team has been wavering up and down the last 25 years. I know they've been working very hard to get that there. I know they went to the playoffs. I know they've had some hard luck, but I don't think Dipoto he's not making the point that he should be. That's just the way I feel about it.
Indeed.
Okay, Brandon, this last one is for you. And I'm going to be very nice because I know the White Sox have been hammering you and taking away your happiness. It's not quite the factory of sadness that Cleveland is, I know. But where is the drawing board? I'm not saying going back to it, because I know they've won less than 50 games in the last 2 seasons combined. So in this season and last season combined, where is your measuring stick on where the White Sox should be with every move they've made, regardless of its firing of a manager or Kenny Williams leaving?
I just think the main goal is development in that farm system. You know, we did the Garrett Crochet trade. We got Kyle Teal. We got Braden Montgomery and a bunch of other prospects. And like I mentioned earlier, we're probably going to trade Luis Robert and hopefully get a whole bunch of prospects back. Just continue to improve the farm system. And of course, that doesn't mean that these players are immediately going to come in and make an impact. But that's all I really want is development. And not to mention, you have Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz, 2 of our top pitching prospects. I'm very excited for Noah Schultz. I would love to see him maybe get an August call-up, see how he does in the majors. But I do like a lot of the prospects we got, and we'll see what happens with Colson Montgomery. I know he wasn't very impressive last year in the minors, but with a little more seasoning, I think he will be the shortstop of the future. I like Kyle Teal at catcher if Corey Lee ends up not working out. And I have some hope. I have some hope, especially with a lot of these prospects that we have.
The way I see it, the big picture, and this is coming from a guy who was an A's fan, who went to the last games and everything, and there's another compadre right there, my good friend, Mr. Lima. If you have anything to add, I will go to you in a moment, my friend. I'm currently talking about the White Sox, and yes, I've been very nice to Mr. DeJesus. I see it this way. Chicago has to have their development ready. They got rid of Eloy Jimenez to Baltimore, and they didn't get much in return. Not much at all. Luis Robert has been one of those guys that's been there for a while. He was supposed to be part of that team that La Russa had together, but everyone goes back to La Russa and his DUI and everything. La Russa was the most success they've had recently, besides Rick Renteria, who was the manager of the Cubs at one point. But my function is this. If you're going to have a team that's going to lose 121 games and then go on to lose another 115 this season, get your stuff together, get your prospects, and finish the job instead of continuously tearing down. That's what poor ownership gets you. Mr. Lima, now that you have the floor, I'm going to allow you to do the Red Sox, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Go right ahead.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, I was a little bit late. Running a little bit late. We'll talk about the Red Sox here. They had their series against the Rays. They won 2 out of 3 against them. Running into the White Sox. Now, the White Sox have been very tough on Boston inside at their stadium. But this time here at Fenway Park, the Red Sox kind of like did the reverse. The White Sox beat the Red Sox 3 out of 4 in Chicago. Here in Boston, it is basically 3 out of 4 here. And the scores are 10-3, 4-3, 8-4, and 4-2. And then the Red Sox just finished up their series with the Mariners. The homestand is complete. And the Red Sox won the first game, but the Mariners have always been a tough team, always contending in the playoffs. Watch out for the Mariners. Could be a very sneaky. And the Red Sox are going to go on the road once again against the Guardians in a 3-game series, going to Toronto for the weekend, and then next week from the end of April to May, one against the Blue Jays, and then going back to home to Fenway again to face the Twins and the Rangers, each in a 3-game series, and then going back on the road against the Royals. So, good way to start off. And I look at the standings now. Prior to the Mariners series, Red Sox were a half game out at first, and now they're because of the 2 losses against the Mariners and 2 games out, which I was pretty shocked. I didn't think they would be up in second place at this point. I know the season's still young, but the major concern in the series against the Mariners is their hitting. Their offense has been very, very quiet. Swings and misses, many strikeouts. Rafael Devers, batting under 200. I don't know if batting him at second is a good idea. Like you see, you get to pitch. You're avoiding him. You're pitching to Bregman and Story and all them. And I know we had Leon Hendricks back. So he was struggling a little bit, but I think once you get him going, I think he'll be fine. Remember, he hasn't pitched in over 600 some odd days. So
Yeah.
he's a little rusty. So I believe he'll be all right. Once you get him going, it's just a matter of like I said, him getting the flow back. And I'm trying to think of something else that I like I said, season's still young. Jury's still out on a lot of things, and we have Brian Bayo back. That's another thing. Now we got to worry about Lucas Giolito. I don't know if there were rumors about trading Tristan Casas and then moving Rafael Devers to first and give the DH spot to Masataka Yoshida when ready. But we'll see how everything goes, how the Red Sox do, and that's all I got. Basically.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I was talking about this a couple weeks ago because Papelbon decided to use his big mouth again like he did against Harper, and let's put it this way, that didn't work out well for either one of them. Papelbon got released. But he said that, because I'll be nice saying this, I know there's a couple large individuals in this call. When's the last time Papelbon picked up a bat that he didn't get shoved up his prostate area instead of his mouth? Because the second he starts complaining about Devers' weight, Devers starts crushing the ball. So as far as I'm concerned, you want a pitcher to step back in the batter's box and take a fastball to the cranium, it's going to be Papelbon. That's just my opinion. Now, as far as I've heard from everybody in here, hitting has been the problem. But last thing I have to say about this is, and I know the majority of you have heard about this, but the torpedo bat has not been a bad thing for baseball. It's helped the big guys, it's helped the little guys, and it's not 1987 anymore where all these little guys are still pounding out home runs. The torpedo bat's helping, the ABS will help, and I will get opinions on that next time. But the ABS will help baseball. The torpedo bat, it looks like a bat that David would have to use playing T-ball. But otherwise, I'm grateful for all you guys here coming onto this show and being awesome. You guys did a great job, and I'm happy to be here for this baseball rundown every week. For Boston, for Houston, for Texas, for New York, LA, Seattle,
Houston Trash Throws.
Cubs. I said that, you little. You just kicked off the air if you make me mad. But for all the baseball teams here, including the little guy above my head, we would love for you to run down the week with us one more time next week. And goodbye from the weekly baseball rundown. Good night, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Take care.